Alright, welcome back to more Genshin Impact. We only have like one day left to finish Lantern, right? So let's get to it. My procrastination continues to get worse. I'm sorry. Game feels quiet to me. I'm turning it up. We'll see if it still feels loud to me a little later. Stop saying no, please. Okay, now it feels a little loud. Okay. What is this for? Mail. Rattan Immortals web event. Oh. I forgot that was a thing. I'll consider it. Okay. Return to Yujing Terrace. I can do that. Yes. From here, I think, because getting to Yujing Terrace is really freaking annoying. I really wish they would put a teleporter up there. One day. Maybe. Probably not. It's fine. Everything is fine. We're gonna get there. Slowly but surely. Look at all these things I can steal. No, get off the tree. Get off the tree. Yet more things for me to steal. One moment. Must fulfill my collection impulses. Hey, beat up this tree. No? Okay, well, fine. Hey, Ningguang. Impressive work, Storm. You were even quicker than I expected.
Paimon thought you'd be super anxious having to wait for us here at Yujing Terrace, but you seem as calm as ever.
I don't know that Ningguang is capable of being anxious. I think she's already always like 5 million steps ahead. See, and you thought she'd be hopping around like a slime. If I can't trust you, then I really don't know who I can turn to. My apologies, Lady Tianquan. I promise I'm not usually late for appointments, let alone by a whole day. Hope you can understand. No apology necessary, Director Hu. It was my mistake letting you go to the border by yourself. Don't say that. Even I didn't think the situation would get this bad. How bad is this bad? I'd like to know too. How dangerous is the situation we face, and how does it compare to previous cases? Way worse, like way worse.
Huh? So this isn't the first time? I've never heard of this happening before.
Well, don't forget, the border isn't part of the natural landscape. It's more like an old house that's gradually falling apart. So it requires maintenance every once in a while. Sometimes every few centuries, sometimes every other decade or so. And of course, this is the responsibility of the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor. Why is there no music? It's so deathly quiet. Kinda hate it. In the past, though, the worst it got was a few small fetter leaks. That's an easy fix with our secret art. It burns it all away, no problem. But this time is different. Inside the border, it's like the whole world has been turned upside down. Do you have any idea what the cause might be? Not so far, no. Maybe it's the abyss. This sounds exactly like what happened in the Night Kingdom. I doubt it. I haven't found any traces of abyssal activity.
You're thinking about Natlan, right?
Yes, I am.
It did feel kind of similar, but not exactly the same. Is Liyue's border anything like the Night Kingdom in Natlan?
Yes. I've heard a little about the crisis there. But as far as I understand, the Night Kingdom is a true realm of the dead, while the border is more of a boundary world between life and death. Yep. It's demarcation line, life on side, death on the other. So if the border fails, souls will pour out and the whole thing becomes a chaotic mix of life and death. Just like what happened all those millennia ago.
No wonder so many people have been aging faster than normal.
It's a symptom of death encroaching on the world of the living.
Then what should we do now?
Burning away the fetter won't do any good, because the issue is the border itself. Lady Tianquan, any progress on the 7 and 8 gates method I mentioned last time? Yes, we've deduced the location of 4 of the gates, and we should be able to pinpoint the rest of the array before long. Whoa, already? The Tianquan doesn't mess around. Several strokes of luck were involved. Our nation is blessed with good fortune.
Wait a second. That gates method you mentioned. Are you talking about the one from the sanctification of Tao Du?
Yeah, the one where someone had to die. That's the one. You've seen the state of the border. I can't think of any other way to fix it, besides a complete do-over.
Do-over? You mean make a whole new border?
No, not the whole border. Just the part that's been giving us grief, which is just as well. Reconstructing the whole thing would be much more difficult. What is this 7 and 8 gates method? The 8 gates refer to 8 key nodes in Liwa's ley lines: life, death, repose, concealment, initiation, terrain, fright, and injury. They can be used to direct the ley line's energy.
And the 7?
That's the requirement for activating the array. The array master will select one gate from the 8 to subdue evil, cutting off its exit path by using the ley line's power to obfuscate themselves.
What do you mean, obfuscate?
She means sacrifice.
As in, disappear from the ley lines completely, never to be seen again, taking the banished evil along with them.
So someone has to die for this to work? But you can't seriously be considering this.
No, don't worry. That's the traditional interpretation, but people just assumed that because the lone butterfly sacrificed herself. But let's not forget, they were purifying a whole god. As bad as things are now, it's still a far cry from what they had to deal with. Besides, the border itself isn't completely ruined, so we're only fixing one part of it. If you ask me, as long as the array master can withstand a huge blast of fetter, they'll be just fine. Oh, do you have any proof to back up this statement, Director Hu? My proof is that I know the most about life and death out of everybody here, unless anybody wants to dispute that. I mean, I've definitely lived longer than you, but I'm not an expert, I would say. No one? Okay, good. Well, looks like we're all in agreement. In that case, we can plan our next steps as soon as the Tianquan has found the remaining 4 gates. Director Hu. Something to add, Lady Tianquan? That butterfly is like attacking Ningguang. No. There's something else that I'd like to ask about, but it might not be my place to do so. If you do not wish to answer, then please pretend I never said anything. Sure. What is it? Do you believe that today's border crisis could have anything to do with the Wuwang Hill disaster from over a decade ago? Do I know anything about this? I don't know.
Huh? There was a disaster at Wuwang Hill? What happened?
I'm guessing I didn't, because Paimon is also in the dark.
Some sort of natural disaster, wasn't it? There used to be a village there, but then there was a flood or something. Took a lot of lives, and all the survivors moved away.
Yeah, I've seen the dead people there. I think that's where I met Hu Tao for the first time.
But that doesn't explain how Wuwang Hill became the dark and gloomy place it is today. Maybe there was more to it.
No, Lady Tianquan, I don't think these two events are related. Excellent. Well, that puts my mind at ease. Everyone, let's meet here again in 2 days. We should know the locations of all the gates by then. All right. Well, I've still got a lot of preparations to make, so I'll be heading back to the funeral parlor now.
Sounds good. If we're all done here, I'd better get going too.
Wait, Lanyan, Paimon meant to ask, how did you know where to find Hu Tao? Did you already know something was wrong with the border?
Oh, that. Yeah, I definitely owe you an explanation. Why don't you meet me at the Adventurers Guild later? I just need to write a letter to my family first. I want to let them know I'm fine. And I also have some questions I want to ask them.
Alright, then we'll see you at the Adventurers Guild.
Okay. This quest line is very long. I'm pretty sure this is still just the second part out of 4, which is insane. Also, we need to be on the lookout for more coins that I can hit or other such things. Give me these.
Listen, let me tell you.
Traveler! Paimon! Over here! Perfect timing. I literally just posted my letter. Anyway, back to your question. Let me guess. You're probably thinking I predicted the border crisis with some kind of mysterious magic.
Well, yeah. Aren't the Lons of Chen Yu Vale all experts at Qimeng divination or something?
No, that's simply not true. Yes, the Qimeng arts have been practiced in my clan for many generations. And yes, Wind Reader is listed as one of our ancestors in the genealogy, but my family are only distant relatives. We branched off from the main family line long ago. By my grandpa's generation, the only Qimeng he knew was a few parlor tricks.
Somehow, I don't believe you.
Put it like this. My grandpa makes a living telling fortunes in Yilong Wharf. But I'm making more than him just selling my handmade arts and crafts.
Huh. So why exactly did you come to look for Hu Tao?
Because Grandpa's readings have gone sideways recently. The romance and career fortunes are doing okay. But when it comes to longevity, everyone's readings suddenly saying they only have a few years left to live. It gave Grandpa quite a fright. Fearing backlash from his clients, he closed shop and shut himself away at home, trying to divine an answer to the strange readings. But after days and nights of divination, the only clue he got was Wangshang Funeral Parlor. Right around that time, I happened to receive an invitation from the Ministry of Civil Affairs to organize a street fair. So I figured I might as well drop by the funeral parlor to see what Director Hu might know about all this.
I want to meet your grandpa.
Oh. Wait, so your grandpa's divinations were correct all along, weren't they? The longevity readings were affected by the border crisis, and Wangsheng Funeral Parlor was the answer, because they can fix it.
Hopefully, they can fix it.
It's certainly looking that way. Apparently, every soul in Liyue is now living under the creeping shadow of death. But so far, we are the only ones in the know.
I have another question. What's the deal with this rattan figure? We've had this whole time.
That's the one I left at Miss Yingar's shop. It's actually a product of genuine Qimeng art. It's engraved with an exorcism sigil to absorb inauspicious energy in their owner's place, so they won't come to harm.
Well, you should have left a note with it explaining what it was. Otherwise, people are going to be concerned, Lanyan. You can't just leave stuff like this lying around.
I had no idea you'd been holding on to it all this time. I guess it was meant to be. You're more than welcome to keep it if you like. When I first arrived at Liyue Harbor, I passed by a large house and felt a chill go down my spine. So I made a rattan figure and gave it to the young master there. Later on, I also sent something similar around to Maus. So I made another one and left it at Scent of Spring. Then I followed Director Hu to Wuwang Hill, only to find she disappeared without a trace. While I was searching the area, I found Miss Chi-Chi. She was stuck in some kind of crevice, and she seemed to be blocking something from coming through.
Interesting.
When I tried to pull her out, we both got pulled into a cold, dark place, which I soon discovered was the border.
She was using her body to block it. Oh, poor Chi-Chi.
We wandered around aimlessly for a while, until we ran into Director Hu. She'd lit some incense, and was burning Fetter left and right with a flaming staff.
The Staff of Homa. It's a great weapon.
But there was just too much. There was no way she could hope to get rid of it all. Worse still, the Fetter blocked off the way we'd come in, trapping us inside. Thank goodness you came to our rescue.
You're welcome.
Whew, what an ordeal. Still, your family sounds more impressive than you let on. Didn't you use some kind of illusion magic in the border?
Oh yeah, you did. With the rattan figures.
Yes. Actually, that and the rattan figures are things I learned from one of my cousins in the main branch of my family. She's been practicing the Chiman art since she was little. She's also the one I posed some questions to in my letter back home.
Another potential playable character later on down the line, perhaps? Questions about the 7 and 8 gates method?
Wow! Good guess. Yes, I want to know for sure whether sacrificing one of the participants is a necessary part of the method or not. I figured she might know.
Huh? But Hu Tao already told us it won't come to that. She said we just need to make sure the person can withstand a strong blast of fetter.
But consider Hu Tao is the lone butterfly. Like, she is a butterfly. That's like her thing. So, should we not consider that she would lie to us and sacrifice herself without our knowledge?
I certainly hope that's true, but I can't help but feel uneasy about it. I haven't known Director Hu for long, but I get the sense that she prefers to keep the truth bottled up sometimes. Sure, she talks a lot, and isn't afraid to broach dark and uncomfortable topics, but she really hasn't said much in the way of her own private thoughts. It's like she's already got a plan, and is keeping it to herself.
You mean, you think she lied to us?
I wouldn't call it lying per se, but remember when the Tianquan asked about the incident at Wuwang Hill from a decade?
Yep.
Whoops.
Hu Tao said that it doesn't have anything to do with what's happening now. Are you saying they actually are related?
Do you know anything about what happened back then, Lanyan?
I just heard that there was a flood. But given everything that's going on, I think it likely had to do with the border as well. That would at least explain the strange weather going on at Wuwang Hill. I remember my cousin saying that around that time, the Wangsheng funeral parlor set up an altar on top of the hill. I just assumed it was for a funeral. But now, I can't help but wonder if it was some sort of ritual to try and fix the border. Anyway, the ceremony was hosted jointly by two former directors of the Wangsheng funeral parlor, namely Hu Tao's father and grandfather.
Oh, really? Hu Tao's never mentioned her dad to us before. How strange. So you think there's more to the story, huh?
Yeah, but since she brushed it aside when the Tianquan asked her about it, I don't see how I can broach the topic. I've only known her for a few days.
I guess we should go talk to Hu Tao ourselves.
Huh? You think we should ask her about it? But she's never opened up to us about family stuff before. What if she shuts us out?
Then that's her choice. All we can do is try.
All right, let's go find her and take it from there.
Wow, this is still all the same parts. Oh gosh. Rollerblading.
Hu Tao!
Storm, Paimon, what's up? We haven't spoken in 5 minutes, and you're missing me already?
Yep, so we thought we'd come hang out with you. What were you looking at just now?
Something so amazing you wouldn't believe it. But I'm not showing you. Why? Is it a secret photo of me? Seriously, though, you probably shouldn't joke about that. You don't want to jinx it. Jinx it how? Well, the people in this picture keep appearing in my dreams lately, and none of them are around anymore. So keeping you out of the picture is probably for the best. All right. I'll quit joking around. Here, take a look.
Huh? Wait, are they?
Aw, it's her dad and grandpa. Look at little baby Hu Tao. She's so cute. Yeah, my dad and my grandpa. Without this picture, I'd probably have forgotten what my dad looked like by now. When he passed, I was still too young to understand what was going on. Everything I know about my dad, I learned from my grandpa. So, what happened to him? There was a border incident on Wuwang Hill about a dozen years ago. My dad tried using the art of Homa to burn away the fetter, but he slipped up and suffered a lethal exposure to it. He died on the spot.
That's awful. So, is that what made Wuwang Hill the way it is today?
Yep. His mistake didn't just cost him his own life. It took most of the village out and left lasting changes on Wuwang Hill itself. Thankfully, my grandpa managed to deal with the fallout, but that's not to say he escaped unscathed. He didn't even make it to 60 before he passed. So, your grandpa was affected by the incident with your dad? Well, he never admitted it, of course, but given how fit and healthy he was before that, I would have expected him to have a few more years in him.
Sounds like you blame your dad for all this.
How could I not? It would be one thing if he was just a spoiled brat who never amounted to anything, but he was a genius. He was, and still is, the best spellcaster in our family for generations. Grandpa always called me gifted for mastering the Wangsheng arts by the age of 8, but by the time my dad was 8, he was already hosting rituals and incinerating fetter all by himself. Fixing the border crisis should have been a piece of cake for him. And he messed up. Who else is there to blame if not him?
But maybe the question is, why did he mess up?
Because he was an unworthy director. Every past director has burned away all of their belongings when they pass on, leaving at most 1 or 2 items behind. My grandpa, for example, left only his hat behind, but my dad, he left a whole pile of stuff, including this meaningless picture.
But doesn't that show how much he cared?
No. All it shows is that he was unable to let go. And the fact that he couldn't let go is precisely why he failed during the ritual. He was too attached to his aging father, his young daughter, and the world where we were all together. That's why he hesitated in the final moment, because he was afraid to die. He lost focus, and death won, taking his life and many others. In this line of work, we know better than anyone how hard letting go can be. We see it all the time. But as funeral directors, it's the one thing we cannot allow ourselves to fall victim to. Like Grandpa always said, we should live in life and die in death. That's the whole basis of the Wangsheng Funeral Parlor's existence. Unfortunately, with my dad, these teachings went in one ear and out the other. He really let everyone down.
You don't need to be so hard on him. Sure, he made a mistake, but he can't have meant for things to turn out this way.
You're missing the point, my little Paimon. It's precisely because he's my dad that I choose not to hold back. There isn't a father in the world who would disapprove of their daughter being outspoken, because a father's biggest fear is that once he's not around anymore, his daughter will never get to be that carefree, sassy little kid again. So I'm going to keep talking trash about him all I want. And on the off chance he ever overhears me, I know he'll take some comfort for knowing that I never stopped just being myself and living my life my way. I guess that's one way to go about it, sure. Everyone grieves differently. Anyway, so that's a brief history of Wuwang Hill for you. Anything else on the agenda? Thank you for being so open with us. Did you think I'd hide it from you? Nah, we're better buds than that. Plus, you did just rescue me from the border, so I owe you big time. Answering your questions seems like the least I can do.
Alright, in that case, Paimon has one last question. Earlier, you said that no one will have to die when the array is activated. Is that the truth?
Yes, in my highly professional opinion, yes.
Okay. That's all Paimon wanted to hear.
Try not to dwell too much on all this stuff, okay? There are still 2 days to go, so check out the street fair and enjoy yourself. You said it yourself, remember? Gotta keep a reasonable work-life balance. I'll see you at Yujing Terrace in 2 days. This time, we're gonna turn death to ashes. Okay, we have finished the second part of the quest line. Finally,